rotational pressure and just generally play defensively to allow yourself to scale. Team Malaysia, though, are quite used to dealing with those sort of strategies. They up the ante so much. The way they move around and coordinate with each other means that you cannot afford to pick a draft that loses to them early.
And talking about how the ban-wise coming out from Team Indonesia, right? They actually give away Grok from the first time. And not only that, for the second pick as well, they actually as well focusing on getting the Jushin, and then they picked up, if I'm not mistaken, they actually take, which one was it? I think.
They went Lancelot.
Lancelot, yeah, they go for the Lancelot. But then, here's the thing. There's a lot of the heroes of Assassin that we talked about how it is a meta. It's either you actually take down Lancelot or you actually take down Hayabusa. And when you actually give that opportunity for both sides to have it, this is where the fine line that it's too much of freedom or even open for you to actually play around with the draft.
I think it's fine to keep it open. It's because you want to keep it basic in the end. And I feel like Team Malaysia was actually attempting to do that, right? When we look at the heroes that they banned out initially, the Angela, the Healthcare, these are not what you would normally see nowadays, but they're good T strategies. So Team Malaysia is basically posing the question. We're going to take you on in typical draft fashion, typical front to back, play the game, the style that it is meant to be played, and we'll see who's better. In this case, Team Indonesia tried to switch it up by going for a draft that should be able to counter individual pieces of Team Malaysia, but you gotta be able to deal with it as a whole.
And I do think that when it comes to the mid laners, right, we talked about how when it comes to Stormy, too much flexibility. Looking down our FCB even saying that, hey, talk a little bit about Stormy, right? That Farsa. We talked about how, yes, it's either going to be Farsa or Lunox, but when it comes to mobility-wise, Lunox has the capability not just for the damage, but brilliance-wise comes in, will be able to move around very freely and having a really composure to just back things up and have a very quick movement or involvement into the team fight. But Stormy just showing off how, from the back line, he can do so much damage. But here on out for our second round is going to be dangerous grass. Okay, for now say that man category is so fun because every single time when I cast for the woman category, it's always the flying clouds, flying clouds. Hello, god of RNG. So very biased there, right? But it's okay. At least I have the opportunity to cast for the men category for the last day, so it's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much anyway.
I like how you're so passionate about this one particular aspect.
I hate that map.
Though, you know?
I hate flying
It's not the heroes. It's not the metas. It's the map. You know?
Yeah.
You just don't like clouds.
No.
No?
I like cotton candy, but I don't like clouds.
You know, there's one meme on the internet where it's just a news article, old man screams at cloud. That's you right now.
That's me, yeah.
That's
exactly
the situation we're looking at. At the very least, it's going to be grass this time around, and we all know that we love to touch grass, right, everyone? Game number 2. Team Indonesia gonna be on the blue side this time.
Rock as well as Kimi been taken out. I think pretty much we did see that Kimi was already been picked off from the last map or even last draft. But Grok definitely needs to be banned out. Even though, yes, you can able to open it out, but it's too risky if you actually give that opportunity for your opponent. It's either you actually take that for yourself because Indonesia has the first pick, so they say like, nah, we gotta actually take out that Grok. Don't give them. So maybe there is a hero they want to pick out first of all before giving that opportunity to Team Malaysia.
It is interesting that they would ban the Grok. It basically means they have to go Kacha first, otherwise it gets stolen away. Unless
Or
they
even
intend,
Lapu-Lapu if they want.
They might be thinking of going Iesf first.
Oh yeah.
And then if the Gatot gets picked by Team Malaysia, then they can go for the Hylos. That might be the idea we're looking at right now. Looks like Team Malaysia will just take out the Baxia. So let's see what Team Indonesia's idea is for their first pick.
Let's see. Are they gonna actually go for the year first? That can actually change things around for Team Indonesia. But again, I kind of feel like they are also particularly looking on the side of Gatot Kaca instead to be picked up. So Malaysia is still open if they want to actually pick out that Yi for themselves, or they want to do the same thing where they picked out their own assassin jungler again for the first time for their 2 first heroes.
Now, Team Malaysia has
Tuh
the
yang komen
option
tuh.
of both Landslot and Hayabusa
Iesf
this time
vertikal.
around. Team Indonesia will just probably
Kan
grab
baru-
whichever hero Team Malaysia doesn't go
satu
for
game
here.
anjay.
Eve with
Tunggulah
a
game
Landslot
kedua.
combo is not too bad, but the synergy of it is
Indonesia
going to
ngepur
be
dulu
a bit
kali.
lacking. And they're also going to be needing to look for a roamer now that both Grok and Gatot have been taken off the table. With Gatot on the opposite side as well, Kalea is also not as
Kasih
viable.
napas
So
dulu
it's
ini
going to be the
tuh.
Landslot and the
Kalah.
Zeus Sin.
What is this? This is a challenge face on or saying like,
Baru
this
game
is how you use your
satu.
Tushin actually, Indonesia. So we're gonna show you how it is. So this is Team Malaysia
See
picking
your
up Tushin for
friend.
themselves. So Eve is still open for Team Indonesia if they want to actually pick it up. Great combo coming in for Kaca as well.
Kita cek
Even
dulu
another
apakah kita
assassin to be
terlambat,
picked out if they
teman-teman.
want to actually take that Hayabusa as well.
Oke, kita udah
Yeah, I think
terupdate ya.
Eve should be prioritized. It should be Eve Hayabusa unless Indonesia really wants Lapu Lapu. That's the choice they have to make. I think regardless, they have to go
Wait.
higher unless they're particularly confident that their assassin hero pool will still be okay going into the second half of the draft. But Eve Gatot is just such a solid combo overall. It is gonna be the Hayabusa with the
Oh.
Uranus instead.
Okay, I think pretty much this is kind of a bit of the repeat of the draft. I think when they fight off with Romania, yeah. But without Gatot Kaca to be picked out, they actually had Lapu Lapu, Hayabusa, as well as Uranus as their combo, and it was successful. Great rotation coming in from them. They were able to actually control some of the movements from the early on. So this is the aggression they are looking for. At least they can be able to survive it out for the early rotation. I think they saw how what Malaysia was doing for the first
Siapa
round.
tuh?
They want to make sure
Kemarin
at least early
diobok-obok,
game they will not be
sekis.
easily taken down.
But picking
Kamu
Uranus
belum
at
lihat
this
game
point is still
kedua
risky
kok.
because there's a lot of
Santai
fighters
lah,
that can
santai.
deal
Game
with
kedua
it. Team Malaysia
nanti.
has the chance to lock in one right now.
Baru
Something like the
tahu.
Esmeralda would be fairly safe, but the Hilda also slipping through the
Hilda.
cracks. This was banned in the second half earlier by Team Malaysia. So they're gonna use it to try and threaten this Haya as much as possible. Once we go into the second phase of bans, Team Malaysia should start getting rid of mid laners, Eve being the priority. Indonesia probably wants to ban heroes like Xborg, Alice, and Glue.
Let's see. Not just Eve, Lunox is also can be also taken out as well. There's a lot of the focus right now can be done for Team Malaysia. So let's see who they want to actually take down. I think Eve will definitely be the first pick to shut down first of all. Just sold out a little bit of the mid laner for Team
Among
Indonesia.
the planes exists the equilibrium.
As is expected right
Yeah.
there, Eve gets taken out. So Indonesia should probably ban Xborg in this phase. I'd be very surprised if they don't. Besides that, getting rid of other heroes that'll give Uranus a hard time is also fairly important. So those are going to be
Game
Alice,
dua.
Esmeralda, Glue.
Eh.
Those are the ones that they might be the most worried
Jangan
about
menilai
overall.
sebelum pertandingan,
What
teman-teman.
about
Jangan
the
sombong.
goal lane, though? I
Ini
mean,
nanti tuh
we
Malaysia
haven't
nih
seen Rangers
ganyang sama
before. I
Indo,
mean,
teman-teman ya.
do we want to actually put out carry here? Is it going to be a little bit risky, even with carry having a true damage to just burst down to just shred and melt out every single
Scary
Indo.
for which team?
Lost
for Malaysia
on-
actually?
For Malaysia.
On-
No, Xborg is scarier.
On-
Yeah,
But
definitely.
game tuh
But it's going to be
Indonesia
Choco
is
actually
win.
been picked out by Indonesia to
Win
be
is
shut down. I
three.
think pretty much we did see some of the double fighter lane is quite scary as well to be picked up for the goal lane. So I think they're pretty
Anjir,
much
ada
already aware
Hilda,
of it of
anjir.
how the
Susah
meta
sih.
is for WEC.
Getting rid of the Cho. So Team Indonesia either thinks this is going to be a gold lane Cho or a roam Cho. Most likely the latter, which means they think this Hilda is EXP instead. It is not too bad a matchup into Uranus, but it does end up being kind of 50-50. Then getting rid of the Cho is perfectly fine because there is a less risk here of Team Malaysia going into double fighter side lane, so you probably don't need to ban Ruby since they already have Zeusin and Lance. That's not quite enough scaling to go double fighter. Looks like the Lunox will be targeted, so full focus from Team Malaysia on the mid lane.
Let's see, one more to go. And you talked about how when it comes to double fighter, it really doesn't actually have the potential here in the draft wise of Team Malaysia, and I do agree on that because damage wise, they still need more, so they probably will be leaning on MM there. So if Indonesia want to actually take down at least one more marksman or even goal lane, that would be probably a good case for them. So it seems that it's going to be GG instead for their side. Again, fighter prioritization from Team Indonesia.
Get away,
I actually
you
forgot that
are.
CC was still open. and completely slipped my mind at this point. Yeah, that is a
Kenapa di
perfectly
sini ada
understandable
Hilda,
ban
teman-teman ya?
because
Jangan
this
bilang ini
is
map
a hero
rumput,
that can be
anjir.
flexed into both side lanes and would give your Reynas a hard time
Ya udah
regardless.
sih, ini tuh nggak ada
Does
harapan
mean
buat
that
Indo,
Exborg is
anjir.
left
Map
open. If
rumput
Team Malaysia is
Hilda,
okay with putting
di
Hilda in
terus
the roam
di Indo
position,
ada
Exborg
Hayabusa, udah
versus
selesai
Uranus is
ini.
going to be very solid overall. I don't actually
Nggak ada
think
harapan
they'll
ini tuh.
go for their second fighter here yet because there is the option to flex it out. What do I know, right? It's gonna be the Lapu Lapu.
Malaysia always surprises off, but Lapu Lapu has been a great addition coming in for the WEC. I think we pretty much have seen a great round
Hilda,
solid
map
coming
rumput
in
itu
for the
no counter,
initiation.
teman-teman
That
ya.
Rivals Fighter comes soon.
Hilda map
It pretty
rumput.
much is a great meta to be straight up used here for their semi-finals. But Team Indonesia, how they
Tapi
want to
nggak tahu
actually
sih
contest
nanti.
this out with Team
Map no
Malaysia
counter
is
kalau
still need
Hilda
a little
rumput
bit
itu
of
kalau di
damage,
rank
so they
teman-teman
pick
belum
up
tahu kalau
Obsidian here again,
di
as well as
Iesf ya,
stealing out
belum tahu ya.
Farsa from the hands of Team Malaysia. Again, it is a little bit risky because Team Indonesia did kind of actually have a falter case when it comes to the first
Anjir,
draft.
kenapa
They
ini lagi
didn't have
sih?
enough time to actually scale out this
Siapa ini?
So
Obsidian,
let's see
kenapa
if
ini
maybe
Obsidian lagi?
after that first
Anjir,
loss,
anjir.
they will be able to patch things up.
Going for Obsidia second time.
Aduh,
This
aduh,
is a
aduh,
marksman
aduh,
hero
aduh.
that can punish assassins. That is the main reason why Indonesia is going for it, to see if they can cheekily catch off Skies. But it already didn't work too well for them
Apakah
the first
ini ada
time
harapan
around, so I am
teman-teman?
a little bit
Sepertinya kalau
concerned. The Farsa
aku
as
lihatnya tuh
well
ini
might find
game
herself in a
very
bit of
hard,
difficulty.
very,
There's a
very,
lot of
very
dive
hard.
heroes on the opposite
Kecil
side. One
kemungkinan
thing
Indo
that Team
menang,
Indonesia
teman-teman
can
ya.
play for is their mid lane duo is very strong overall. But looks like Team Malaysia will still go double fighter regardless of the lack of scaling. The Exborg in the gold lane for a second time, which means they want to play hard and
Udah,
fast
Hayabusa FK
again
aja,
for the
anjir.
early mid game.
Hayabusa AFK aja ini tuh.
This is scary. I mean, when it comes to damage scaling wise, yes, it is a little bit risky on Team Malaysia, but hey, this is where we say we're just going to langgar. We're just gonna straight away crash everyone from the get-go, and
Todak
hopefully
langgar
that will
ini,
be a
todak
great
langgar, kata.
execution for Team Malaysia. Right now, we have
Kata
one
casternya,
more
teman-teman
point
ya.
to go. Can they actually clean it up with them right here at the semi-finals? Only
Kenapa
one can
picknya
move
tuh
on to the
gini,
next
anjir?
level, and those who actually drop for this last match, or even they may be able to actually
Iesf
prolong
Iesf
our
ini penting nggak sih?
semi-finals, will have the opportunity to have the
Tapi
going
ini
for
masih
a
ini ya,
fight
masih
with
belum
Team
penentuan
Malaysia.
ya.
Is it gonna be
Masih
the best
lolos
of
ini
one,
juga kalau
or
kalah
is
ya.
this the end for Team Indonesia?
kenapa sama kalah
Give it up
Malaysia
for
loh?
World Esports Championship 2025. Can Team Malaysia go to the grand final, or will it be trouble by Team Indonesia?
Our defending champions one step away from making it back to the final stage of the WEC. And it is only their longtime rivals who will be able to stand in their way. Who will come out on top this time? Will Indonesia be able to bring out a second stage now that they're pushed into a corner?
I feel like, again, we talked about how the draft-wise, right? Now we are seeing that Team Malaysia is just going to continue to keep up the pace, making sure that they'll be able to actually pressure out Team Indonesia. Going to actually pick out. Yums comes in, goes in for the dash, but it's not going to be enough though. Still, Stormy just tried to actually pick up one after another just to give a lot of pressure from that mid lane.
Now, one advantage that Team Indonesia has this time around is that they do actually have mid lane prio. Gatot and Farsa together pair up very well. Kabuki not having a good time in lane, as is expected of anyone dealing with an Exborg. But Team Indonesia can take advantage of their mid lane rotational pressure. It means that Yums isn't able to aggressively invade. It looks like Skies will still try to be a little bit annoying.
Yes, the Kai is definitely going to actually just invade a little by little, getting all the gold crabs as well. Now pushing
Ngapain
in, winning.
ini? Yes, kill
Managed
malah
to screw away
ininya
to
ke
safely there,
XP
but
loh.
still, Team Malaysia looking better than ever, making sure that
Padahal
they
dia
will
belum
be
punya
able to put a
ulti.
lot of the constant pressure. Again, just try to actually make sure that Kabuki just don't goes over the line.
Skies is here to clear the wave as much
Dia belum
as
ada ulti,
possible to make sure that
masalahnya.
Lolil can actually join the turtle fight. So Team Malaysia
Dia
will
mau
just have
ngambil
the
ini biar level 4
direct
gitu
numbers
ceritanya.
advantage. Even if Momo hasn't been
Tapi
having a
apakah
very
dia
good
akan
time
mati,
against
teman-teman?
Aran, they have an
Ya,
Exborg.
ya,
Indonesia
ya.
cannot contest here.
Ooh, barely surviving that, but Momo? Momo? No, definitely not. But it is going to be a free turtle in the hands of Team Malaysia right in instant. giving a lot of the grounds to be covered things out, especially with the gap as well. But here on out, burning greedy just a little bit, also picking up as well. Federer Center is already open. Joe managed to actually move away with a shadow, but at the same time, a lot of pressure has already been done by Team Malaysia.
I think the timing from Joe could have been a little bit better there. If he waited for the feathered airstrike to break the Faraga armor, he could have actually entered afterwards with the quad shadow and attempt to take out Lolil. But it's still pretty even currently. Team Indonesia has been playing defensively, trying to make sure that they don't fall for the same tricks that happened to them in game number 1. Gold lead is minuscule, though slightly in favor of Team Malaysia.
Far, Team Malaysia goes in for the dive again, but goes back, just making sure a lot of the continuity of pressure going off for Team Indonesia. Malaysia, they know for a fact that early game, they can definitely push the Indonesia from the back and making sure that they just don't overextend.
Yeah, Team Malaysia knows there is actually a timer on their heads this time around. Yums has not been able to get a lot of value out of this Hilda so far, and Team Indonesia wants to keep it that way as much as possible. They have multiple sources of mid to late game scaling, where once again, if they don't fall too far behind in the mid stages, we'll just be able to carry them through to the end game. But Malaysia...
Here's the keys, goes in for the puncher, but missed out a little bit, so Kabuki will still be able to survive things out.
So far, we're seeing actually very good movements from Team Indonesia. They have adjusted, even if we're looking at some of the similar heroes from last time around. Not attempting to make overly aggressive plays onto the opposite side, even though they have a Farsa. They're playing defense. They're keeping themselves safe to play for the late game. They know that Malaysia is the one that needs to be creating pressure.
Here's the thing about Dangerous Grasp. This is why it is called dangerous. You don't know where they are coming out for the fight. But coming in right now, they picked up Aran, goes in for the punch and missed it out, but goes in all day for the fight. Goes out. Going to stun it off immediately, but can they actually go there? No! Goes! Immediately shuts down Aran, and now living off this second turtle in the hands of Team Malaysia.
A good attempt by Aran. Survived for a very long time, but not long enough. This is going to be a free turtle for Team Malaysia. And I want to bring attention from everyone to Yums' positioning in that fight as well. Specifically, cutting off the backup from the rest of Team Indonesia and then pincering around to ensure that the kill goes through. Things like this are what makes the difference in those situations.
I like the fact that no matter how much they try to actually tone it down, now going in for the bottom, goes in for the puncher. Momo gets the kill instead, making sure that every pressure is done by Team Malaysia.
There's just something about the way Team Malaysia plays. They know how to get under your skin. As an EXP laner, you know, they just committed so many resources to kill you the first time. Surely, they won't be around a second time, but no, they're hiding for the ambush, especially when Aran doesn't have his stacks built up yet.
Goes in for the quad shadow. Federer side is already open, but I think Yums will be able to survive it out. Shadow kills comes in, one last hit. Dojo takes down Yums immediately, but there's gonna be just a little bit of trade for Team Indonesia. But Stormy on the other end say, did you just take Yums? You are in the no man's land, my friend. The kiss comes in, he goes in on, but the airborne comes through, and Stormy says, Joe, you are down!
There is no escaping from the eyes of Mage Prodigy himself. Joe finally able to get a kill on the side of Team Indonesia, but the trade of the jungler for the roamer is simply not worth it currently. Even though they've been trying to play defensive, Malaysia has already built up a 2k lead once again at the 6-minute mark. Next turtle up in 35 seconds. Indonesia's gonna need to slow this down even more, but it's difficult to do so now that Aran has been focused as hard as he was.
Now, trying to actually go in for a fight. Kabuki backs off